these meetings that you go for, and then there's this guy really doing the sign language well. And then I'm like, oh, we need to, I told my friends, actually even my friends that I was working with wanted to study sign language. So like, we need to ask this guy if he can teach us, at least over the weekends, if he can take us through some of the basics. So after the meeting, we go to him and say, we need to learn sign language. You know, this is what we do. We get deaf people that need assistance from us. So how can you teach us? And then he says, you know, I work up country and I come to Kampala over the weekends. So if you guys can have time, like on Saturday, 2 hours is enough for me to teach you the basics. So we agree and we're so excited about it. And then we agree to start like next week. So that week, this guy doesn't show up. And then he says, oh, you know, I'm caught up. I did travel to Kampala. The next week, he comes by, and I think one of us is not available. So he teaches us a few things. And then he keeps calling. You know, he begins to start a different relationship from the sign language thing.
He begins calling you?
He begins calling me. The calls that come in early in the morning and at night. Good night, good morning, stuff like that. So now I'm like, okay, this guy, I think he's not going to be a good teacher. I think he's up to something else. So actually he starts saying, I'll come over the weekends and study. And then I say, no, I think we're going to go to the Association for the Deaf, where we can actually study and get a certificate. After all, for you, just an individual, you won't give us anything to show that we did sign language, apart from the skill. About Christmas, he brings me a gift for Christmas. And then after that, he begins to talk the normal thing, you know, I like you, blah, blah. And then all my friends are like, Laura, you need to give this thing a try. You just can't say for you, you're waiting to have kids and, you know.
From what?
From what? And then my friend said, but Laura, you keep saying I'm locally. How are you going to have kids out of wedlock? You just can't say that. I remember telling one of my pastor friends and said, hey, for me, I'm still saved. You guys are not God. Me, I'm going to have my kids and I'll still be saved. God will forgive me. And then he told me, but who is arguing with you? You're arguing with yourself. I mean, you know the right thing and you know the wrong thing. So all my friends begin to tell me, Laura, you need to give it a try. My sister say, you need to give it a try. And we think this guy is a nice guy because he would come home. At times he would come, drop me home, pick me up. So everybody seemed to like him. Oh, he's a nice guy. Oh, he's what? So I said, oh, fine. So we begin moving out, slowly by slowly. And that's how the ring came.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Life Stories with me, your host, Justine. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Send us an SMS on 6565 and let us know what you would want us to know about this show. We continue with Laura's story. So, Laura, did you finally meet his parents?
I actually first met his sisters, and I met his mom finally. And his sisters were, I mean, they didn't give me this look. You know, when you're disabled and you go to people that haven't, if people see you for the first time, there's a way they look at you and, you know, analyze you. Well, I didn't see that look on their faces. I don't know if they were prepared, but I didn't see that kind of look and, you know, the surprise and saying, oh my God, how is our brother going to get married to this girl? So I didn't see that. After a few months, I meet the mother. But, you know, all this time I was telling him, you know what, you need to prepare your people. So, like you tell me, I was telling my mom about you, and I'm like, did you tell her that I'm disabled? He's like, but I don't have to. I'm like, no, you have to. So that when she sees me, she doesn't get shocked. You need to tell her that you're dating someone who's disabled. And yeah, I went there, the mom received me, and everybody received me well. Honestly, I did not sense any kind of rejection or anything that was saying, you know, we don't want her or something. I never heard about that. If it happened, maybe I didn't hear about it, but I didn't hear anybody say that amongst my in-laws. I believe that happened because my husband also comes from a very Christian family, and they are very, very, very religious people. So I think that really contributes a lot to how people think and look at things and look at people. Yeah, but I mean, the only thing that he told me was when he told the mom that, you know, I'm dating this girl and she has a disability. And the mother told him, if that's your choice, as long as you're happy, for me, I don't have a problem. That is entirely your choice.
You've never felt unwelcome?
I haven't felt unwelcome amongst my in-laws. I don't think I have. I don't think I have. My husband has a mother, but he lost his biological father. But the uncle who is like the father figure, who is like my father-in-law, is very wonderful. He's outgoing. He's a bishop. So, I mean, I haven't, even with my mother-in-law, I haven't really sensed her thinking.
Do you realize how lucky you've been in that sense?
Yes, I do. I do realize that, because I speak to women all the time. I speak to girls, and I know that most women or girls with disabilities are not married legally because of the rejection they get from their in-laws. And I know so many stories of girls that have dated guys and they don't get married because the family of the boy has completely said, no, can't be getting married to a disabled woman. I have heard so many of those stories, and I count myself lucky, really, really blessed.
How long have you been married?
Should be about 5 years.
How have you found marriage?
Marriage is challenging for everybody, not just for me because I have a disability. The usual normal challenges of marriage also come to me. They don't only come to, I mean, they don't forgive me and say, for you're disabled, that's enough. They come. One of the things that I am happy about, and I think that this marriage was meant to be, is that for me to have found a guy who was already aware of disability issues was really like a miracle for me. Because then, disability is a very complicated thing for people to understand. And no matter how a guy would come and say, oh, I love you, you're so cute, you're so what, I always had this feeling of, if I'm to live with this guy on a daily basis, and I can't do so many other things that a woman would be expected to do, I don't think he will, take it. And then this guy who has worked with disabled people all his life
will definitely understand.
Yeah, will definitely.
Other factors are not constant.
Yeah. So for me it was like God just put it there so I can get somebody who would really, really understand me and not think about and maybe feel like, I shouldn't have married this because she's disabled, this and this can't happen. But I think for me that was one of the biggest things that I thank God for.
If you were to put your life on a weighing scale with your disability as the intersection, would you say you are blessed or disgraced?
I would definitely say that I'm blessed. I think I'm one of those few blessed people with disabilities in this country. First of all, because I had a supportive family. I had supportive parents who never went to school. I mean, because in my thinking, I keep thinking, if my parents didn't go to school, how did they get all this knowledge to know that, they're supposed to take their child with a disability to school, to treat her on an equal basis with other siblings, to build her esteem? I mean, only God could have taught them to do that.
How do we, somebody watching, parents out there, society, how can we make somebody feel that blessed?
One of the things that kills people with disabilities starts at family level. And my experience working with disabled people is that their dreams are shattered at that level. If your parents treat you differently, in a negative way from your siblings, if they tell you you can't become anything, you're useless, you can't go to school, you have to stay home, hide you in the room so that the people don't see you because you have a disability. That's how you will grow, and you will think that's who you are. So I think the biggest role is with parents. They need to support their children who have disabilities. They need to make them feel loved. They need to show them that they are special, that they're just like any other child. A disability is just a difference. It's just like being brown and being dark-skinned. That's how I look at it, and that's how parents should treat it. And then schools play a big role as well. If you go to a school and the teacher tells you, you disabled child, makes you feel bad, kills your esteem. If one has no esteem, they have nothing. So parents and teachers have a big role to play to make sure that people with disabilities actually think good about themselves and they think they are the same people as others.
Laura, if you were to give special thanks, what would it be?
Special thanks would be to my parents, although one of them is not here, and I believe wherever she is, she can hear, but to my dad who is alive, for being a wonderful dad, for making me the kind of person that I am today, for riding me on that bicycle every morning to take me to school, for a man like him who has never seen a blackboard to know that that's important, to take me to all the good schools that I went to without saying, oh, I will not spoil my money on this disabled child, I will always be grateful for that. My sisters, for all the love and the support. And I think my church has done a great job to teach me so many principles in life that I can't depart from, that I also feel my children should take on. To my husband, for his love and for his support, for all the nice things that he keeps saying to me. And I mean being very proud of me and saying this is my wife. I don't know where, I forget to introduce him, but he introduces me everywhere. So for being a supportive husband and a supportive father and a loving father, I get jealous at times because I think my son is closer to him than he's closer to me. Because he finds the time to play with him, to run with him, to do all those kinds of things. And to all the people that out there, activists, media, whoever comes out to talk about disability, for me, I look at those kinds of people as activists, as people who are trying to bring disability out of darkness and show that, this is not something strange. These people are not sick. They're not, they're just people like us. For me, I really want to thank people that do that kind of work to bring disability out of the darkness and to show the public that, if you have a disabled child, that child is as good as the other child that is not disabled.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Justine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
This story, if it was a book, I guess it's one that people would go to all the time.
Thank you.
They would go back to it. They wouldn't just read it and complete it.
Thank you so much.
Everyone dreams of setting up a wonderful home, having a perfect family and children. The reality is perfection is far from humanity, and the reverse is true. Some children are born with disabilities and others are born without, but get them later in life. Besides the humiliation and mistreatment from people themselves, our systems too discriminate against people with disabilities. Laura says she would pay any price to get the joy she has into the lives of other people with disabilities, those less fortunate than she is. Laura founded an NGO named Legal Aid for people with disabilities, where she protects and fights for the rights of men, women, and children with physical and emotional disabilities, through offering free legal counsel, pursuing court cases for them where need be on pro bono basis, and advocating for amendment of laws that discriminate against people with disabilities. All in all, it is only responsible, loving parents and families that can groom a Laura in every neighborhood.
Many times we've had stories of people with disabilities and all the things that they have to put up with in life, the cruel things said to them, the mistreatment that is directed towards them, and it's very, very disappointing. These stories will never stop depressing us, but it's good to hear that love can make a difference. Laura's parents did not have an education. They did not have lots of money and property. All they had in stock was love. They had lots of love, and this made a difference in Laura's life. today she feels way blessed and not at all disgraced because of the way she was raised. Parents out there, society, friends, relatives, it is very easy to treat people with disabilities very well if you have a positive attitude. So think about these people. Give some thought to somebody you know that is going through a hard time because of just a disability. They can do everything if they're given the same opportunities just like anybody else. That was it on Life Stories today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. You can still catch all the shows we've aired on Life Stories on our YouTube page, that is NTV Life Stories. You can also send us an SMS on 6565 and give us your view about this show or this particular topic. Send us a message on our Facebook and Twitter pages, that is NTV Life Stories still. I'm Justine. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.